Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most mysterious and valuable coins, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel. You might have one sitting in a drawer right now and not even realize what it's worth. Grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore why this small coin could be a big deal. Stick around until the end, because you won't believe just how much this nickel could be worth today. Let's begin by turning back the clock to the year 1943. It was a time when the world was at war, and every resource counted. America was fully immersed in World War II, and the U.S. Mint was making major changes to help the war effort. One of those changes directly affected how nickels were made. Normally, Jefferson nickels were struck with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. But nickel was a strategic metal needed for making tanks and artillery, so the mint had to improvise. From 1942 to 1945, they replaced the regular metal mix with what's called the wartime composition, a blend of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. These special war nickels were easy to identify because they included a large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse side, a unique detail not found on any other U.S. coin before or since. And now, here's where things get truly interesting. While millions of 1943 Jefferson nickels were minted with the silver composition, a tiny number were accidentally struck on the original copper-nickel planchets meant for earlier years. This was a minting mistake, and these rare 1943 nickels made of the wrong metal are today considered one of the great rarities of American coinage. Imagine the odds: millions of coins produced, but only a few were ever struck in this incorrect metal. These rare survivors became the stuff of legend among coin collectors. So how can you tell if you might have one of these rare treasures? The first clue is the weight. The Silver War nickels weigh slightly less than the original copper nickel ones. A rare 1943 nickel struck on the wrong planchet would weigh around 5 grams, compared to the 5.5 grams of the wartime version. Next, check for the mint mark. A genuine 1943 war nickel will have a large P, D, or S above the dome of Monticello. If you find a 1943 nickel without that large mint mark, you could be holding a coin that shouldn't exist, a minting error that could be worth a fortune, but rarity is only half the story. The condition of the coin also plays a massive role in its value. Coins that have never been circulated, that still shine as if they were minted yesterday, can fetch incredible prices. Collectors pay top dollar for coins graded as mint state by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And when you combine that pristine condition with a rare minting error, the value skyrockets. These coins don't just sit in someone's pocket change anymore, they show up at elite coin auctions, where passionate collectors battle to add one of these rarities to their collection. Over the years, examples of the rare 1943 Jefferson nickel struck on the wrong planchet have surfaced and stunned the numismatic world. So what could one of these elusive coins be worth today? Well, if you're lucky enough to find a 1943 Jefferson nickel struck on a copper-nickel planchet, and it's in near-perfect condition, you might want to sit down for this, because one of these incredibly rare nickels has sold for a jaw-dropping $105,000. That's right, $105,000 for a 5-cent coin. So, check your coin jars, dig through those old collections, and visit your local coin dealer. Who knows? You might be holding a hidden gem in your hand without even realizing it. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a discovery. Until next time, keep hunting, and may your pocket change bring you treasures beyond imagination. Top 2. Because we're about to uncover the mystery, history, and hidden value of one of the most overlooked coins in American pocket change, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. This is not just any nickel. It's a coin that could be sitting unnoticed in your coin jar, your wallet, or an old drawer, and it could be worth more than a luxury car. Yes, you heard that right. So don't skip a second of this video, because we're about to explore everything you need to know about the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, and why this humble 5-cent coin is making waves in the collector world. Let's go back to the year 1964. It was a year of great transformation in the United States. The Beatles had landed in America, the Civil Rights Act had just been signed, and the coinage system was under serious strain. Millions of Americans were hoarding coins, especially silver coins, due to rising silver prices and concerns about changes to U.S. currency. To keep up with public demand, the U.S. Mint ramped up coin production to historic levels. In fact, more than 1 billion Jefferson Nickels were minted in 1964 alone, making it the highest mintage of any nickel in American history. The Denver Mint and the Philadelphia Mint were working around the clock, producing coins day and night. On the surface, it would seem like there's nothing rare about a 1964 nickel. They're everywhere, right? Well, not exactly. You see, whenever there's mass production, mistakes can happen, and sometimes those mistakes can lead to very valuable coins. Among those billions of 1964 nickels, there are a few that stand out, not just because of how they were made, but because of how perfectly they were preserved or because of unexpected minting errors that slipped through unnoticed. Let's talk about the details. The Jefferson Nickel features, of course, Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, America's third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence. His home, Monticello, is depicted on the reverse. At a glance, it may seem like a plain design, but it's a classic, clean, elegant, and instantly recognizable. And now here's where things get interesting. While most 1964 nickels are common and worth only face value, there are specific versions of the coin that can be worth thousands. We're talking about rare mint errors, proof-like strikes from worn dies, and most importantly, coins that were struck in full steps. Yes, full steps. Let me explain. The staircase on the Monticello building is one of the key areas collectors focus on when grading Jefferson nickels. A coin that shows 5 or 6 full, sharp steps without any wear or weakness is considered a full steps nickel. These are extremely difficult to find, especially from 1964, due to the worn dies and rushed production of that year. Finding a 1964 nickel with full steps in uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack, but that's not all. Some 1964 nickels were accidentally struck on planchets intended for other denominations, like cents or even foreign coins. Others were double struck, off-center, or had misaligned dies. These rare errors are highly sought after by serious collectors and can sell for enormous sums at auction. So how do you know if your 1964 nickel is worth big money? Start by checking the condition. Coins that are shiny, untouched, and show no signs of wear are known as mint state coins, and they're always worth more. Then look at the steps on Monticello. Are they crisp and complete? That's a good sign. Got any unusual features? It might be an error coin. And finally, consider getting your coin professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC, because their certification can add credibility and increase the value significantly over the years. Some truly exceptional 1964 Jefferson nickels have shown up at auctions, stunning both collectors and investors with their rarity and beauty. These aren't just coins, they're artifacts, frozen in time, carrying the legacy of a pivotal era in American history. So what could a rare, near-perfect 1964 Jefferson nickel actually be worth? Well, if you're one of the lucky few to own one of these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, possibly with a full steps designation or a unique mint error, get ready for this. Because one of these rare 1964 Jefferson nickels has been sold for an astonishing $82,000. That's right. $82,000. From a 5-cent coin. So the next time you're sorting through your pocket change or rummaging through that old coin collection in the attic, don't overlook the Jefferson nickel from 1964. It might look ordinary, but with the right traits, it could be a life-changing discovery. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that might be hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another coin adventure. Top 3. We're going to explore a surprising and often overlooked piece of American currency, one that might just be hiding in plain sight. That's right, we're talking about the 1975 Jefferson Nickel. Now, before you dismiss it as just another ordinary coin, let me ask you something. What if I told you this simple 5-cent piece could be worth a small fortune? What if I told you one rare version of this coin has sold for more than the average American salary? Well, stick with me, because the story behind the 1975 Jefferson Nickel is far more fascinating than most people realize. To understand the true value of this coin, let's rewind the clock and take a look at the year 1975. America was in the middle of cultural and economic change. The Vietnam War had just come to an end, inflation was climbing, and people were starting to look more closely at their money, literally. Coin collecting was growing in popularity, and the U.S. Mint was producing millions of coins to meet the growing demand of a busy nation. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, struck a massive number of Jefferson Nickels in 1975. We're talking about hundreds of millions of them. To the casual eye, it might seem like there's nothing special about these coins. You could find one in your pocket change even today. So how does a coin minted in such large numbers become rare? Well, that's where the magic happens. While most 1975D Jefferson Nickels are common, a tiny number of them stand apart for reasons that are both mysterious and exciting. First, let's talk about the design. On the front, you'll see the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, facing left. On the reverse, there's the image of his iconic Virginia estate, Monticello. The design is classic and has changed very little since the nickel was first introduced in 1938. But the real story lies in the details that aren't visible at first glance. During the minting process, not every coin is struck perfectly. Some coins are created using worn dies, leading to weak images. Others are struck off-center, double-struck, or even made on the wrong metal planchet altogether. These are known as mint errors, and they are the holy grail for collectors. With the 1975D Jefferson Nickel, there are a few specific kinds of rare examples that can dramatically increase the coin's value. One of them is the elusive full steps nickel. Let me explain. On the back of the Jefferson Nickel, the steps leading up to Monticello are incredibly small and easy to miss, but they are extremely important to collectors. When a coin is struck perfectly, you can count all 5 or 6 steps clearly and cleanly. This level of detail is rare, especially from the 1970s when dieware was common and mass production was the priority. Finding a 1975D Jefferson Nickel with full, uninterrupted steps is a challenge. These coins were struck so quickly that the dies often didn't produce sharp details. But if you find one with full steps in high-grade condition, you're already holding a rarity. Now combine that with a high mint state grade, say MS66 or MS67, and maybe even a unique error, and suddenly, what looked like a regular nickel turns into a serious collector's item. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a huge role in determining a coin's market value. They analyze the coin's condition, strike quality, and any unique attributes before assigning a grade. The better the grade, the higher the value. And in the case of the 1975D Jefferson Nickel, a perfect storm of condition, strike, and rarity can drive the price up dramatically. These rare, high-grade nickels don't just disappear into piggy banks or vending machines. They show up at prestigious coin auctions, where determined collectors bid fiercely for a chance to own something so rare and so perfect. But let's be real for a moment. You're probably wondering, okay, so what's the big number? What's one of these rare 1975D Jefferson Nickels actually worth? Well, here's where things get exciting. If you have one of these rare nickels in exceptional condition, one that shows sharp full steps, has been graded professionally, and perhaps features a rare mint error, you might be sitting on something far more valuable than a handful of change. In fact, one of these rare 1975D Jefferson Nickels has been sold for an incredible $70,000. Yes, $70,000. From a 5-cent coin. So what should you do next? Check your change. Dig through those old rolls of coins from the bank. Look in those dusty coin collections handed down by your parents or grandparents. That ordinary-looking nickel might just turn out to be a rare gem hiding in plain sight. If you loved this video and want to keep exploring the amazing world of rare coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a story that could change your life. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your coins safe, and your curiosity alive. Because you never know when a little piece of metal could turn into a massive payday.